So guys, I want to tell you about I Weigh, a new podcast you should check out. And if you are familiar with the term I Weigh, or you know the name Jamila Jamil, you probably know how excited I was when I got the email that we were doing an ad read for this. I love her. I am so excited for this podcast. It's hosted by Jamila Jamil, who you all know from The Good Place or her fantastic Instagram account. On I Weigh, Jamila is on a mission to help people understand and overcome their past shames, including her own, and she wants everyone in on the journey. Every week, Jamila chats with your favorite smart, interesting, and inspiring people. You'll hear some truly vulnerable and hilarious stories from people like Gloria Steinem, Reese Witherspoon, Beanie Feldstein, and so many more. I Weigh is about growing and loving yourself and about celebrating progress, not perfection. Because we're all just doing our best and learning how to become a better person. Listen to I Weigh with Jamila Jamil now on your favorite podcast app and make sure to subscribe and favorite. And tell her she should come on my podcast. Okay, thanks, bye.
Hey guys, this is Melissa. We recorded this episode before the Safer at Home Act was put in place, so you will hear us referencing that we are together. But in episodes after this, we are practicing physical distancing, so enjoy.
What's that noise?
Lawnmower.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. I was going to burp. Hold on.
That's my impression of you trying to burp.
I was going to do that, but I've got my drink, so I didn't want to. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. How y'all doing? You can't respond. How are you doing? It's not like we just recorded another episode sitting right here.
We haven't been talking for
Yeah, I don't know
hours.
What's new with you. Not much.
I'm trying to think.
What's your most guilty pleasure movie? Like, what's a movie that's like so bad that you love it? Like, so bad it's so good. Or just like a comfort movie that like, you know, is not like cinematically like I love Cheaper by the Dozen 1 and 2.
See, I don't really rewatch any movies. And the one that I do watch is a masterpiece.
What is it?
Mean Girls.
Oh, that is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
No, nothing else?
I can't think of any movie that I've just sat and rewatched. Ever.
Well, there goes that.
Like I've rewatched, like if I've rewatched it, it's because of I'm researching it for something I'm working on.
Which there's definitely no way any of like the so bad it's good would be something you're doing with that. Have you seen Cheaper by the Dozen 1 and 2? They're great.
Because I was like, I think I was in high school going to college, so it wasn't like a movie that I would have sat down and watched.
What about Josie and the Pussycats?
Oh, I've seen that and it was awful.
Whoa.
I saw it with my friend that's like a year younger than you, and we like the same type of TV shows, and she was very convinced that I would love it when I sat down and watch it, and I was like, I get it, like I know what they're doing here.
How old were you when you watched it?
It was a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah. I mean, did she warn you of being like, this is just like...
No, she like
early 2000s wet dream.
She absolutely loved the fucking movie. And we are like this when it comes to what we like. We're right there together.
We're missionary. But yeah. I still don't get it. I don't understand. Wait, no, he has legs too.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah. So I was like I get it. I understand why you would think it was good, but it is what it is. I remember when it came out, I got panned so hard, and I was like, why should I waste my time with this?
I have it on VHS.
And I figured you did. Do you have something to play it in?
No, I don't have the VHS here.
No.
It was that my favorite movies is that Bend It Like Beckham, loved. A League of Their Own, loved.
I love League of Their Own.
It's fantastic.
We've watched it together.
Do you like have you Drop Dead Gorgeous?
No.
Have you seen it?
Nope, I've never seen it.
It's a really good movie. You should watch it. It's not like how I described like the movies that are so bad they're good. That's not one of them. I still think you need to watch The Greatest Showman.
I have seen The Greatest Showman. I saw it in theaters. I took my niece and nephew to see it.
So what did you think about it?
I thought it was fine. Like, they enjoyed the music and stuff. I think so. I went like as something like I went
watching someone else enjoying
watching children enjoy it. And when I can see like a little like 6-year-old boy walk out of a theater and he's like, I want to listen to the song on the ride home, then like it changes the perspective what things are.
So we don't agree.
Yeah.
It's okay. Monts and I are the only two people in the world who have this thought.
No, you're not.
Oh, well, I tweeted.
It's a bad movie.
Hinted at a tweet and I got
the
roasted.
thing is, the people that love it really, 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 really love it.
Oh, yeah. Like, Greatest Showman apologists are like, I'm strong.
Like, do you guys not like look at history and see how terrible this man was?
But also,
he literally bought a black woman and put her in a cage and just had people coming, and she walked around naked and had people like staring at her like she was a fucking cage animal at a zoo.
Well, that's the part that I think that you have to just kind of like the people who enjoy, you have to kind of turn a blind eye because the movie itself is also problematic. Like he's much more problematic than the movie, but the movie is he's still problematic. Mm-hmm. And I just think a good rule of thumb is you cannot make a song where someone else sings, I forgive you for being like, you can't forgive someone for racism in a song when it's not the racist person being like, I apologize for being racist. It's Zendaya being like, I forgive you for being racist. Yeah. I'm like, Zac Efron didn't apologize. And I just hate, I can't. I should watch it. I keep telling Monts, I'm like, I just want to get super fucking high and watch it. But maybe I'll get freaked out.
So you haven't seen it at all?
No, I've seen it. We saw it in theaters. I didn't know it was a musical and we almost got kicked out of the theater.
Got it. I didn't know it was a musical either.
Yeah, then I just saw his foot tapping and I was like, shh.
And then he does whatever he does.
Yeah, and Monts slow turn looked at me and I was like, I had no idea. I am so sorry. And I'm not. I can fuck with some movie musicals. Rent, love. Mamma Mia, love. But I mean, I love ABBA so hard. So like, they could do no wrong. But I don't love a lot of movie musicals.
I'm trying to think of any. Do I love any?
I never saw.
I love like Grease.
Oh, love.
Yeah.
That's good. I haven't seen in so long Moulin Rouge or
I loved Moulin
Burlesque
Rouge.
Or Chicago. I haven't seen any of those.
Wait. No, I love Chicago. I don't remember. I know I saw Moulin Rouge, but I don't remember it. I remember in Chicago, I saw it at the movie theater. And in the last act, Renee Zellweger had lipstick all on her teeth. And I was like, they forgot to take this out. And then when it came out, on DVD, they had taken it out.
That's going to be like Dame Judi Dench's hands in Cats.
Because I saw it I think the Friday it came out. So I wonder if people saw it later in the theater if it had been changed.
You know, sometimes people I get like occasionally I will get that people tell me that I remind them of Renee Zellweger in Bridget Jones's Diary. Like nothing else, just specifically that.
I've never seen Bridget Jones's Diary.
Really?
That actually should be a movie that I've seen because I was like really into like romantic comedies when it came out and I never saw it. But I do have it saved it's on Hulu right now. It is. And I will watch it.
Monts and I started watching
all three of them are.
Yeah. I think the third one, someone's in jail and I got stressed out. I don't know. There's some certain things. Did I tell you I found out that I'm an empath? Okay. No. Hold up. First of all, there's like a lot of like debatability of like our empath. Like, is it like, there's not like an actual test or if it's real or whatever.
When did you find this out? I saw you a week ago from today. When did you find,
I found this out like a month ago and I forgot.
Well, I feel late to the party now.
Well, I mean, it's me. I forget.
You should have felt how I felt.
I should have told you.
Known.
No, but it like my therapist brought it up to me, and she like basically like she had like it like clicked for her in my session. She goes, "Oh my god, do you know about empaths?" And I was like being empathetic. She was like, "No, like someone who is an empath." And I was like, "No." And then she was like, "Oh, like I can't." Like she's like, "First of all, it's not something you can be diagnosed with because it's more of like, it's not necessarily like." Gonna change anything of your life. Like you can find it like helpful personally, but it can kind of make sense. But everything adds up. Like I can't watch movies where people do drugs. I get really stressed out with like and just any sort of like massive amounts of emotion and like I just feel like overwhelmed in like big crowds and all that. But I am an extrovert. So like I've always been like, but I'm not introverted. Like I don't recharge by being alone, but I feel like I like really, I can't deal with like huge groups of people and that sort of stuff. And like the biggest thing was like violence in movies. Like you have like a visceral reaction, like you like makes your heart race, like makes you also kind of cry. Like it just like you cannot handle it. And then she was like, yeah, she's like lots of actors become like empaths. And also like it makes like you like get so drained around other people's like emotions, but you also really want to help people. And then she related to the podcast.
By
like,
this definition, that means that I am one as well.
Yeah, I think, but it's like she was saying that like it's something that like is helpful in the sense that you don't feel like, because I'm like, why can't I just watch like a movie?
Yeah, I can't do anything.
Why can't I
with
watch
violence,
Breaking Bad?
But I'm like fine with the drugs, but I never was ever around drugs, and I feel like you were, right? And you've seen like. The repercussions of people using drugs. I've never really been around people in.
That wasn't until I was older. I've always been, because that was the thing that I was like, it doesn't make, unless I could like foreshadowed the addiction of like people that I know, like that wouldn't have made a ton of like it doesn't make a ton of sense. But they also said that like I mean, my therapist was also like empath, and then also just like massive control issues, and like you have control issues for yourself, but I also have control issues for other people. Yeah. Like I get so like nervous and worried, and like that's like, and like she's like, I think that's also a huge aspect of your fear of drugs is like it's like other people out of control that like freaks you out, because also then like what happens? Yeah, I'm like But I was like, wow, this makes so much sense.
But everything else is like, I can't be in large crowds. I've realized that I do recharge around other people. Like I can't be at home. Yeah, by myself.
We lose our fucking minds. But but I can't. It's not the I don't need the alternative, and that's why I was like so confused by it. But yeah, it was interesting. And then I was like, yeah, Monts is definitely not one. He was like, he's like, is it bad? Is that my guy fucked up person because I can like watch all of that shit? She was like, no, you're fine. But I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And also probably why we like giving advice and like helping other people and stuff. Yeah. We ready? Yeah. Shall we go?
Hey, Meghan, Melissa, and possibly us. I'm so excited that I can finally call in with a problem and hopefully hear your guys' advice on this. So I'm your classic American student studying abroad in London for the semester, and it's been really great. There's only been one issue, the one issue being the living situation. So I live in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath with 5 other girls, so you can imagine like the craziness that can ensue, i.e. maybe like the mess or drama, whatever. So because the space is just like so small, we try to keep it clean as best as we can. But there's one of the roommates that's not pulling her weight. And for the sake of this, I'll just call her Sarah. And so Sarah's constantly cooking and like making a mess, which is fine as long as you clean it up. But she just doesn't. Like, for instance, like when she's cooking, she uses a lot of salt. And so the salt gets everywhere on the counter, or she'll like cut up like hot dog buns and like she'll cut it over the floor or like over the countertop and not under a plate. So that's also really fun to come home to. And so by the time she's done cooking, she has all these dishes, but she doesn't wash any of those dishes. And so they're there for like several hours. And so like by like the 7th or like 8th hour, like half a day, I'm just like, okay, I need to clean these onesies. Either I need them or I just can't stand looking at them, which has become an awful habit. And I'm self-aware of it, so I'm trying to not do it as much. But she also like has her stuff all over the apartment, and like the apartment's just so small that like you should just have all your personal stuff like in your section of your room, just because like the second part of like the living space other than like the bedrooms is just like common space, and you should just be aware of like how much mess you're making. But I don't think she is, and so we've hinted it out to her, saying like, hey, whoever used like the stove last, can you like please clean it up? Or hey, could everyone like just start cleaning up? And she literally just sits there and watches TikToks, and it just bugs me to no end, even though we all know that it's her. So that's super fun, just super fun. And I just don't know what to do, because we've even like been straight up with her and said, hey, can you move your stuff? And all she does is like sit on her phone and watch TikToks, and I don't know what to do. I started like putting like her stuff in a pile, and then she was like super passive aggressive and being like, thanks for putting all my stuff in a pile. And I'm like, okay, you're welcome. So I really help. But that wasn't even English. Like I'm just so mind boggled because I don't even know how she passed preschool, because don't you learn clean up, everybody clean up? Like, does she not get it? So please help me. I need it.
First of all, I did go to preschool, you bitch.
This is so Meghan.
This is me. Clean up, everybody, everywhere. Clean up, clean up.
Oh, I didn't know it either.
See, maybe I didn't. I'm not
Thanks,
good.
Amanda.
Fuck off. Stop looking at me. This is me.
No, this is me too.
This was always me, but then when she said, and she just sits on her phone scrolling through TikTok.
Then it was triggered.
It was targeted.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say though. I'm not, to defend myself, I'm not passive aggressive about like the cleaning aspect too. And like, I'm aware of the fact that like, so if everything is like, if you come over to my apartment and you like didn't, if like my cleaning lady wasn't here and it was spotless, you should be concerned about me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is like I forget what my first therapist who like sucked. No, my first psychiatrist sucked. Oh, that like one of my like if I'm like super depressed or anxious, I will slip into like OCD cleanliness tendencies. I don't have OCD, but that's what psychiatrists.
It's a tendency.
It's like I will. That is like a coping mechanism tendency, and it's like I can't stop. I have to do it sort of thing. And like I will like when my life is going the absolute fucking worst, and I like it can't or I can't deal with it. That's when I will clean. But then there's also the level of like, oh, I'm like depressed and lazy, and it's not like a control issue, and then it gets extra messy. But then there's also the like I just have like ADHD. Like I just don't I don't think about it unless I see it. And then if I see it, I can't blink, because then if I blink, I forgot. And then I'm like moving on to the next sort of thing. But the fact that you're saying that, like, that's why I would say if she's anything like me, the subtle hints aren't gonna work, and it's not intentional. And it's very much like, I've had friends before where it was like, you have to clean. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize. Like, it's just, and I also didn't grow up in a house with like, I didn't grow up in a clean house. Like I didn't grow up with parents like, you have to clean this, you have to clean this. It was like, my parents' house was even more disgusting than it was just never a thing. And so it's not like a malicious sort of, I don't care about anyone else's space sort of thing. It's like, oh, maybe she didn't grow up in a space in which that it meant that you're sharing this. You know what I mean? Like there isn't that sense of like, oh, that's disrespectful, because she didn't grow up with it. But if you're saying that then you put all of her stuff in a pile and like I'm just confused, because you said that you've only been dropping subtle hints, and then you said, but then we were straight up with her and she was passive aggressive about it. Because that doesn't I don't know how she could be both.
Yeah.
Unless she has hearing problems and she can't hear you when you say that.
Yeah, I think everybody has a different level of cleanliness too.
Yeah.
Because I remember I had this roommate, and she actually owned where I lived, and so she did have more say in like how clean I kept things. But she would use the word tidy, and she's like,
tidy meant deep clean.
For her, tidy means deep clean. Yeah. And I don't think of tidy meaning
me neither.
Deep clean. Tidy just means make sure everything's in its place.
Or it's in a pile.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's a neat pile.
It's not
that's
spread.
Tidy. So for her, it was like, it needs to be like super clean. And once I like understood that, then it was like, okay, I got it. I won't. I mean, it wasn't even like in like public. I think I left some clothes in my bathroom that she didn't even share with me. And I was like,
no.
But anyway, but I think there's a level of respect that you have when you have a shared space. So like you're here. This is just you and Monts' place. And you can do whatever
for you guys.
Yeah.
When we're filming. I don't clean if you just come over.
But it's not deep clean though. Like vacuum. There's like popcorn kernels and some other unidentified things on the floor here.
I think those are the he likes the grossest ruffle chip.
Oh, okay.
They're orange, but they're not sour cream and onion. It's like sour cream and cheddar. I can't. I can't.
But
they
like,
smell disgusting.
This makes me feel comfortable that you're not like super clean, but I also like, I live by myself. I'm going to keep my dishes. Like, I'm not going to wash dishes until like I probably need some, but it's like to the point where I make sure it doesn't smell or anything, but that's a whole nother story. But like, if you are in a shared space, then you need to like make it clear, hey, this is what we're in a shared space. It needs to be clean. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do in your own area, but like you gotta clean and like have definitions of clean. But you have to also understand that people have different definitions of clean, and maybe shouldn't. Okay, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 6, 7, 8 hours. It's not a long time.
No, I don't know the last time I've done dishes that I cooked that night. Like if I'm cooking dinner at night, I'm not doing the dishes.
Yeah,
like
so like give her 24 hours. It might be too much for her. Even if she's doing TikTok, that might be her time to decompress.
Yeah, and like you have to nobody's mental health is valued over anybody else's. So like for you, like cleanliness, that's what helps your mental health. And if it's dirty, versus for her, not stressing about it and like feeling comfortable and casual, and then like watching TikToks is better for her mental. Like you can't weigh it. Both of you are going to have to compromise. Like she's not going to be as clean as you want her to be, and you also need to be as okay with that. And I would also say that like the living room stuff, I think I wish you were more specific about it, because like at the end of the day, you all have equal rights in the living room. And if she wants to like leave a coat on a chair, or like depending on what it is that you don't think she should be able to like leave anything there, it also does kind of sound like 5 against 1 essentially. And yeah, it's like you guys have to, if it's not like absolute like mess 24/7 all of the time,
like mold is growing on stuff.
that you like can't live in, that like, and then even if you just say like, hey, can like you pick up, and if you feel ridiculous asking her to pick up, like if it's literally again just a coat on a chair, then don't act like then just learn how to be okay with it, because like that is like you all have equal rights there. But just because 5 of you like it clean and 1 of you doesn't mean that it's 5/1. That's not fair. All of you have the same amount of like, yeah, it can't be like, oh, well, we all want it to this level of clean and she doesn't, so she needs to get there. And it's like, no, it needs to be a compromise for all of you at that place. Also, this might be the first time that she's lived alone, like lived out with roommates and had to deal with that. I was the absolute messiest and the worst fucking roommate college. My freshman year at dorm, oh my God, my roommate, I don't know how she dealt with me. I love her to death. I still like, she's one of my she's like the sweetest person ever. She is so meticulously clean. I was not only a drunk, hot mess, I was not only messy, I was dirty. Like I literally I would not even wash my sheets. I would just like sleep on I threw up on my bed, so I just slept on a mattress. I know.
That's awful.
It's disgusting. Disgusting. Like it was so gross. There was a point where I had, and I'm saying this and it wasn't malicious at all. It's just like, it's not, and I also again was not medicated for ADHD at this point. So like there was no rhyme or reason of like, it just was not a part of my daily schedule at all. And like was so not a thing I could do. I literally had something explode in the microwave when I was drunk, and I never used the microwave, didn't open it for like 2 fucking weeks.
Ooh. And was there like a smell and you guys couldn't identify where it was coming from?
And then she was like, it's the fucking microwave. And I was like, you're right. And I was like, oh my God, I can't clean this. And I literally paid a dude in my hall to clean it for me.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you picked it up and threw it in the trash.
I tried, but then our RA said that even if we bought the exact same microwave, it wouldn't. They needed the same one. I already tried that. But yeah. And so I applaud her and I'm sure she talked very valid kind of mad shit behind my back for it, but was never made me feel bad. Do you know what I mean? Like she never made me feel bad. And like, it was never as clean as she wanted it to be. And there were times where she would be like, hey, let's clean together. And like would put music on. And like, she knew it wasn't malicious on my end. And it just was something I wasn't great at. And there were times that like, if I left it messy and she was having like a guy over to the room, that she would text me and say, hey, is it cool if I clean your half of the room? Someone's going to come over. And I would be like, I'm so sorry. I didn't, like, I feel so bad. Like you really don't have to do it. I'll come home early. She was like, no, it's fine. I'll do it. It'll be okay. Like, it was she was so understanding and so nice about it that like we had a compromise essentially. And there were definitely like, as an adult now looking back on it, I'm like, wow, you were so patient with me. I really should have done better, but I was learning. And she really allotted that kind of curve for me. And it was a compromise. Like I thought I was being way cleaner than I was. And like, I'm sure it was the dirtiest that she'd ever like been with that sort of stuff.
Also, in this time, I feel like it's no longer
an
an issue. You're probably not there anymore.
No. But also, you should join our Facebook group because every time someone posts about this, everyone on the Facebook group is like a fucking bunch of Virgos who are like, oh my God, I would die. Like, I would die if it was this messy. And I'm there being like, oh, mine's way messier than that.
You called the wrong people if you wanted to be on
We're
their side.
ghosters who are messy.
Yeah.
Hi, Megan and guest. I just wanted some really quick advice on pregnancy scares. So, I really don't think I am, but it's still like super scary, and I've been looking tons of things up online, and whatnot, just because that's what you do when you're scared. Most people do it. I think. I know that's probably not the best thing to do right now, but I don't know. And so I really don't think I am. But I don't know, I just wanted to hear your advice. And if you ever had any experience like this, it'd be very nice. Thank you.
Pregnant.
Amanda, what does she think she has? She thinks she has a baby.
A baby.
No, that's a lie.
Let's see.
An embryo.
Yes. Let's see. If I thought that I was pregnant, you know what the first thing I would do was?
Call this podcast?
I would go outside and lie down and see where the sun lands on my stomach, because then I would know.
I can't. I really...
How old are you? You didn't tell us how old you are, because if you're like 14, I'm going to give you just a tad bit of leeway here.
Only if you're 14, though.
But like...
I took my first pregnancy test when I was 16.
I know. Took it at the CVS or Rite Aid bathroom.
Oh, was it CVS or Rite Aid? Good question. I think it was Rite Aid. It was near Molly Stone's. If you're from Marin, you know that.
So, get a pregnancy test.
Oh my God.
It would be so easy to figure out the answer.
This, if you are not, I'm not of the camp of, if people who say like, oh, if you're not mature enough to have a baby, then don't have sex. That's not where I'm at. No, I'm not mature enough to have a baby, and I have sex. I've had sex for like 10 years now. Look at me. Like, no, like, I don't think that's legit. But if you are mature enough to have sex, you need to be mature enough to buy a pregnancy test, because like, it's just like your own. You have to be mature enough to buy a pregnancy test, and you have to be mature enough to go get medication if you get an STI. Like, that's the thing. It's like, you cannot let this implement your health. And there's an easy way to figure this out. And here's the thing. If you're pregnant, you're pregnant. Like, it's not like researching and trying to figure it out.
That's not going to help anything.
No, it's not going to change the outcome either of being like, well, I don't want to take a test because like, ugh. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, what? First of all, the Dollar Tree has pregnancy tests. Any dollar store has pregnancy tests for $1. And if you're sexually active, keep them on hand. Go with your friends, buy a bunch, pretend it's like a totally joke, and like, oh, this is so funny. Like, we're all getting pregnancy tests. Like, ha. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh my gosh. And then fucking keep them. Or if you're 14, don't keep them. But like, you have to take one.
Yeah.
You have to.
Or you can just wait 9 months and see what pops up.
Oh my God. I saw a TikTok of a girl who was like a didn't know I was pregnant thing. So she like was on like had gone on like a roller coaster. She was like 16 or 17 maybe. And like she like was showing all these pictures of her and like how she like was feeling fine. Everything was totally fine. And then like one day she like was like, they were going to the beach with her friends, and she showed a fucking picture. Does not look pregnant at all, but she sees this like dark line going down her stomach and was like, that's so weird. Went to and then she had like a really bad like stomach. They like went on a roller coaster or whatever. They were like a water park or whatever. And then went to like the doctor the next day because she thought she like had hurt her back on the roller coaster. And they go, and she was in labor. And like the doctor was like, oh, well, I mean, yeah, you're in labor. And she was like, what? And they're like, you don't know. You're in labor now. When was your due date? She was like, I'm not pregnant. And they were like, what?
What
and
was the size of this girl?
Small. So she has the thing that I have that's her uterus is an inverted uterus, so it's to the back of her body, and that's what I did more research about a lot of like especially young people who don't know that they're pregnant, and that's the majority of it is because you're growing essentially backwards,
and she hurt her back.
And so you're feeling all this back pain. That's also why my ovaries are stacked behind my uterus, which is all like to my back left, which is why my cramps are like majority in my back. And they say that like a lot of women don't pop if you have this, but she had like just a very like extreme case, and she was small and her baby was just small in general. And yeah, like had a baby and had no idea. And she also was, and because people were saying like, oh my God, like, how did you not like notice your period or whatever? She got, this is like the crazy, she got like, you can spot when you have, when you're pregnant, but she spotted the same time every single month, like a tiny bit. And she had like gotten like, I don't think she had gotten IUD, but she was on birth control and the baby's fine. Everything everything, but it was like one of those things that like she should have it was insane. So that's someone who's allowed to be surprised that they're pregnant.
You're sitting up doing research and you have a inkling that you might be going a fucking pregnancy test.
Here's the thing. What is your inkling? Is it that you're late on your period? Because that's not an inkling. That's a 50-50 chance.
Or did some dude just jizz in you and you're like,
that's what I mean though. Like there are certain things that if you're like, oh, my boobs are like, I do this all the fucking time. Like every single month, I'm like, oh my God, my boobs are sore. And like, I'm extra emotional. Like what if I'm pregnant? I'm like, okay, well, did moths come inside me? No. Like, am I like, and then you think, am I late on my period? No. But if you can be like, okay, I had unprotected sex. There was semen inside of me. And I'm late on my period. That's not like an inkling. Like you have to fucking take a pregnancy test. I just can't. I really fucking can't. Like it's just so irresponsible. And this is coming from somebody who is terrified of the gynecologist.
Right.
Like I didn't go until I was 25.
4? I think you went in 24. You didn't go last year.
No, I think it was last year because it was February.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I got a ZocDoc notification to be like, you should find another. And I'm like, I will. So I didn't go until I was 25, but I've been sexually active since I was 16 and I have pregnancy scares and I have taken tests. And also like if I was pregnant, like I would have done whatever I had chose. Do you know what I mean? Like I would have made the choice from there, but it wouldn't have been like I'm not going to do anything about it and then it's going to go away because it's not.
For you, your hypothesis is, I think I might be pregnant. Then you have to gather your materials. Go gather a pregnancy test. You've done some research, ask some questions. Get a urine sample from yourself. Do the test and see where it lands. I don't understand why you're making this more complicated than it needs to be. Is it the fear of knowing?
Yeah,
if you
that's
have a
what
fear
I think
of
it
knowing,
is.
why are you sitting up and researching?
That's what I don't get. I think there's this idea, like a fear of knowing a fear of knowing, but this is like a time sensitive thing. And it's not, you can't like think it to happen or think it not to happen if it happened. Like it's no.
Whatever. Let's move on.
I can't.
There's nothing else we can say about this.
No.
Hi, I'm 20 years old. I go to school for elementary education. I'm in my second year of college right now. I'm in a 4-year-long relationship with an amazing guy. We've been together since sophomore in high school. And so I have really bad mental health issues, and he knows that. And he helps the best way he can. Absolutely, he is, I don't even know how to say it, but he's amazing. He helps me so much through my mental health. But, like, the only issue I have is he is totally against pharmaceutical medication. And so far, that has been the only thing that has been able to help me through my mental health issues. And it just hurts me so bad because he whenever I try to bring it up to him about like past doctor's appointments and stuff like that, he always gets so upset and angry and like doesn't really want to talk about the whole situation. By the way, his family is just extremely herbal medicine. So, and my family's not. Like, we're give me drugs if it helps me. So, I don't know. Any advice helps. Thank you so much. Bye.
I was going to say, I think that this is so fucked up. This is a joke. This is a joke. I'm saying it's a joke. I think you should give him chlamydia. I think you should. I think you should give him chlamydia.
Where is she just going to go pick it up at?
I don't know. That's not my problem. I think you need to give him a penis infection that needs antibiotics.
This reminds me of this tweet I saw yesterday from this person named Meghan, quote, Alex Rienks, that somebody said that they didn't believe in vaccinations. And she responded because they didn't believe in vaccinations because she got a vaccination before and she got really sick from it. And then Meghan Alex Rienks said, so do you have polio right now?
She said she got every time I get a vaccine, I get sick from it. If I get a flu shot, I get the flu. And I'm like, so when you got the polio vaccine, did you get polio? And she goes, no, I never got that one. And I was like, first of all, that was a fire joke, bitch. Do you not even know what polio is? Like, what? I just can't. I can't. I knew this girl growing up and her family. So, and I say this as like, and we were talking about this before we even started recording, that like, I grew up so fucking hippy dippy, like cloth diapers, like all of that, like crystals, like Buddha shit. Like I grew like no sugar, all of that shit that you would think would be like an anti-vaxxer, but like, there's just like this, there's just like, I knew a couple of kids who weren't vaccinated. And then as far as I know, they died because they disappeared by the time I went to elementary school because they couldn't go to school. So like, it was just like, I don't know where they are. Actually, one of them I think goes to Harvard, which makes me think got vaccinated because you can't go. But there's just like a level of recklessness, narcissism, and like lack of like and ignorance and uneducatedness of people who do not believe in Western medicine for the safety of other people. Because like, here's the thing. If you have a headache and you don't want to take Advil, I don't care. That's totally fine. If you have a stomach ache or you've got diarrhea and you don't want to take Pepto-Bismol, that's totally fine as long as we don't share a restroom. But like, if you want your girlfriend to live and you don't want her to take antidepressants, you don't like, I hate to say this, like, and I think this is, you're saying this is his parents. It's so much of a brainwash thing. And if you're younger, I think he probably is still just paying attention. But, so I knew this girl. Wow, why my Adderall is not a thing today. I knew this girl who her parents were very much like homeopathic, all of that stuff. She was vaccinated, but they were like newly hippy dippy. And for her birth control, her parents went to our local health food store and bought her this root that she was just supposed to chew on. And I literally was like, bitch, you're going to get pregnant. And I told her, and I was friends with her boyfriend. I was like, do not come inside her. She is not on birth control. And if she says that she is lying. She's not. And I knew that they'd never had sex with anybody else. Neither of them had anything that they could give to, but I was like, to her boyfriend, I was like, no. What
is this root? Now I have to look it up.
That's the other part that I'm like, I don't even think that's a thing. But it was just like that kind of shit that I was like, this is so reckless. And like, and it's just like the mental health aspect of it. Like, here's the thing. If for your own anxiety, depression, you can make the choice that medication is not for you, but that does not mean that you can judge anyone else or have the opinion for them. And everybody has the story of like, well, no, it really messed up with like my like aunt went on it and it made it so blah, 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 all of that sort of stuff. That's irrelevant to the person who's on it. Medication saves lives. It's what keeps people alive. There's a chemical imbalance in your brain. And here's the thing. You can have you can have like depressive tendencies. You can have like extreme sort of sadness. You can have situational depression. And like, then there are people who, regardless of the season, regardless of the weather outside, regardless of like the situations in their life, their brain does not produce the right chemicals. And it's not like sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. They don't at all. And if you're diabetic, your body cannot handle your body needs help with insulin and glucose.
Yeah.
And you would never tell someone with diabetes, no, don't do that. Like that's not, it doesn't affect your boyfriend at all. And if he wants to say that it does, he's thinking about it from like the 1% story of, oh, someone I know had a bad experience with blah, 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 and all of that. If this is a thing that helps you and is what keeps you like in the best possible, like being the best possible version of yourself mentally, and he doesn't want that, then he doesn't want that for you. And I don't want to say that because I don't necessarily think that that's the case because you're saying his parents are like that and you guys are in college and it's still a lot of like heavy influence. I don't think it's like lost hope sort of thing, but I think talk to your psychiatrist and if you don't have a therapist, I would talk to a therapist about it too, but like talk to your therapist or psychiatrist and say, can I bring my boyfriend into one of these, and have him hear from a fucking doctor about how, hey, here's my job is once a month, especially if you're on like anti-anxiety, if you're on antidepressants, anti-anxiety, depends, whatever you're on though, that like you're meeting with your psychiatrist once a month. You're talking with them, they're checking in with you, they're monitoring your symptoms. Like they are there to make sure that like 1% of case like backfires and it doesn't work, that it doesn't happen. And their job is to look for that, even if you're not explicitly saying that you're dealing or like you're feeling these sorts of things. I just think it's like such it's like an ableist piece of shit, because if like a crystal helped you with your depression, I'm so sorry, but that crystal did not change the serotonin levels in your brain.
It's willful ignorance.
Yeah. And it's not fair. It's just being like, okay, do some yoga, like you'll be fine this way. And like, if something works for someone, let it fucking work for someone. I'm not going to be here telling you that like, hey, this thing that does not affect me at all, or like, is it not like you're not oppressing anyone. It literally, the only person it has to deal with is you. I'm not going to tell you not to do it. I'm not going to tell you to take Advil if you don't want to take Advil, but I'm not going to, but if you're going to be like, no, I'm not going to vaccinate myself against everything. And then I'm just going to like walk around licking shit. Then I'm like, you're a piece of shit. Because it's not about you. Oh, I fucking
got
can't.
Nothing to add to that.
But again, I'm saying this because I think this is a product of your boyfriend's environment.
Yeah.
And we're seeing this so much more and more of kids who are like 18, like, I mean, not even 18, like, before they turn 18, like between like 15 to like 18, who are suing their parents and are getting emancipated because they're suing the courts. They're suing their parents because they're not vaccinated and they want to get vaccinated. Because you can't go to fucking school. You can't you can't fucking do anything. It's just reckless, and parents make that decision for your kids. And there's a huge majority of your life in which like your parents, they're the adult figure, or whoever the adult figures are in your life. Like that's right and that's wrong. And like, this is like, it's the moral compass. And you start to like form your own opinions and do your own research. And you realize, oh, wow, these people are fucking dipshits. Like, I don't want to do this. And they made this choice for me before I could choose it. And it's not an irreversible choice. I can go and I can change and move on from this. But I think he needs to go to a real fucking doctor.
Yeah.
Because that's
he needs to go in with your doctor, like Meghan said, and sit with them and learn more. And it's because of the way that his parents brought him up that he doesn't realize that this is helpful. And this is why most people aren't dying when they're 15 years old. And that's like, it's regulated. And the other part of it is like, if someone had a bad experience with a medication and a drug, the vast majority of the time is because it wasn't being monitored and they weren't taking it that same way, or there was another underlying issue that it was amplifying and all of that sort of stuff. But like, it's not in like, I just like Western medicine is the reason why we can have like not die in childbirth and like why all of like, we're living to so much longer and through all of this sort of stuff. And then the other end of it that like, I mean, I can't even get into like if you want to have a kid so badly and you would rather have a dead kid than an autistic kid, you're
it's absolutely, it's disgusting. Like it's,
and they don't correlate.
they don't correlate,
all.
and they don't correlate literally at all. It has been proven time and time again. This has been something that's been around since the 90s. People have been claiming this. It's been heavily researched. Like they were all like, okay, we'll humor you and do the research. Oh, look, there is no correlation at all. But even if there was, you would rather have a dead kid and a kid who killed other kids than a kid with autism.
Mm-hmm.
That is disgusting. That is literally like, oh my God, it makes me so mad. Like it makes like so fucking mad.
Yeah.
I can't.
And on that note, we're going to take a break.
Okay, guys, we are back from our break and we're going to head into the rest of our calls. Did we spend the entire break talking about anti-vaxxers? Yes.
Hi, Meghan, Melissa, and guest. So I'm calling about some boy advice. I'm a sophomore in college, and the situation's kind of weird, but basically I was Snapchatting a boy from Tinder who goes to my school, and it started last November, and it's February now. So it's been like over a year and a half of us just snapping, but we did start hanging out a couple months ago when we got back to school in January. So actually literally only 1 month. But okay. Anyway, I think we're going to start to date seriously. So that's the backstory. And now I'm going to get into the issue. He's like super sweet and everything. Like he's a tall, awkward, shy boy. Like that's my type. But I have noticed a couple things. First, he grinds his teeth at night, which that's a medical issue. And is it weird to tell him? Like, I want to let him know because I feel like that's something that you should probably tell someone. But it's only a month in really, so like I don't really know. Also, another thing, I think he needs to wash his sheets more often, but that's also something that you can't really say like this soon, so I don't really know. And also, I really want to offer to pluck his eyebrows, but I feel as though, again, that is just something that is a little too early. So my question basically is, when is it okay to say this stuff to a person? Because obviously after a month, like that's a little too soon, but I mean, I don't know. I just like don't want to seem naggy. I'm not trying to be his mom, but there are just some things that I feel like he probably just hasn't realized and I could really help him. But I feel like this just makes me seem like super overbearing and everything like that. And I'm really not trying to be that way. So if you have any advice on what to do with someone that you're seeing where you just want to give them some uncomfortable news, that would be awesome. Thank you so much, Meghan. I love you. Bye.
You think you're going to start dating seriously. You're not even dating yet.
Also, you literally said, when I want to tell him something uncomfortable. Like, I want to tell him.
You don't.
Why?
Yeah, like, okay, the teeth grinding thing, I don't think that's anything uncomfortable. Just be like, hey, dude, when you're sleeping, you grind your teeth. You might want to get that
in the
checked
middle
out
of the night.
Yeah.
I would be like, so my Sydney grinds her teeth. Oh my God. The noise it makes, it literally makes my body, like it, it's just, I hate it.
It's the same thing that I get when I hear like Sharpie on paper. It's that same thing.
Ooh,
yeah.
I can't stand it. So, and I probably said it the first time we ever had a sleepover. I like hit her and I was like, bitch, you're fucking grinding. That is so annoying. Stop. Like, and she doesn't have a mouth guard now, but like I still to this day, if she grinds her teeth and we're sleeping in the same bed, like I will just poke her and I will say, you are grinding your teeth. Mm-hmm. It's not like, from a medical standpoint, I'm like, bitch, I don't care if your teeth are flat on the top.
Yeah.
You're driving me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're sleeping in the same bed, that's the same thing with snoring. Like, I think like, don't make it, because you're saying you don't want to mommy him, but you're like really making it like the mommy angle. Like if it's not annoying you, then don't say anything. He goes to a dentist. He knows. Right. Nobody is an adult and doesn't know that they grind their teeth.
He might not go to the dentist though.
Ever though?
I don't know. I don't know his life.
I mean, there's definitely like a point where you like are in college or like when you're off your like parents' health insurance and then you're like,
nah, when I was in college, that's when I was using up all this shit.
That's what I mean. But when you're off it and then you no longer have that health insurance and then you're like, I haven't been to the dentist in 3 years. Like, but like, I'm going to be super surprised if he doesn't know that he grinds his teeth. And also like, if you've been dating for a month, to be fair, he might have a fucking mouth guard that he doesn't want to spring on you the first month of you guys hooking up.
Okay. Easy fix. Whatever.
Yes.
Move on. Sheets. I get that because there was a guy that I was hooking up with and he's like, I haven't washed my sheet in 2 months. And I was like, I'm not fucking you on this
Oh
bed.
why would he tell you that?
Exactly.
That's weird.
Yeah. But so like, I don't know, just don't fuck him in the bed.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
Also, you know that when a boy is in college, the only color sheets he has are navy, plaid, or black.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how hard it is to know those are dirty?
Yeah.
If you know those are dirty, those are really
dirty.
fucking dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think like, also, I think there's like, you kind of, college is also kind of a time to like be a little gross.
Mm-hmm. Well, you heard her story at the top of the show.
That she's
Was that this episode? That you barfed on your bed and then slept on the mattress.
Yeah. I'm not saying you have to go there, but like I fucked on some, like my college ex had black silk sheets.
That's disgusting.
Absolutely disgusting. Did I fuck him? 100%. Like you do some like you can't like make it like I don't know, like spruce everyone up, like take the glasses off the this whole thing. Like sometimes just like let people, like if you don't want to fuck him in his nasty like bed sheets, don't fuck him in his bed, but don't be like, you have to like, no, let him do it. Don't mom him. He's also in college. And if you start momming a guy that you're dating 1 month in, you are going to mom him for the rest of your relationship. Yeah. It is such a bad precedent to make. You should want someone to want to do shit for themselves and for you if you're dating, not because you ask for it.
Yeah.
Like there are certain things that like, yeah, you need to ask for if they're hella specific, but it's like, I would like if you like did like, no, don't be the person who's chasing after their significant other, like telling them to like shower. Unless it's like a mental health thing of being like, hey, like, come, let's rally and go shower.
Yeah.
Which is Monts when I haven't showered. I haven't washed my hair in like a week and a half. But like, no. Don't.
Not your place.
And okay, here's the one thing I'll say. The eyebrow thing, I totally understand. I totally understand looking at someone. It's mostly if I like, actually, no, I don't think I would have ever thought a month in. But if Monts now has a zit and we're talking, I'm like, you have to let me pop it. But I don't think I plucked his eyebrows or popped his zits until, I mean, I'm also a lot and I'm like funny, but like we were friends too. I don't think like I would have to feel comfortable doing it with a friend. Like if we weren't romantic and we were just friends, I would have to feel that same like level of friendship. Cause I wouldn't do that to all of my friends. Will I do it to Leo all the time? He'd be like, no, you cannot pop my zits. And I'll be like, come here, bitch. But there are other people, like I wouldn't, do you know, like.
I think it's just like, if it's somebody that you're just now dating, like you and Monts were friends for a while before you were dating.
Yeah, but I think she's getting it confused because they snapped for 1.5 years.
That's true. I don't understand the snapping thing.
And that's the thing that I think you need to, like this comfortability, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
That's not your friend. And like,
if it disappears and you can't see it anymore, I'm sorry, but that doesn't count.
No, Snapchat is such a specific app.
Yeah.
Like it is such a deliberate one.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need a hobby.
Yeah. And I think that's rude to say to somebody that you know what? You would look so much better if you plucked your eyebrows. That is so fucking rude. Like you were fine with it for 1.5 years while you were just looking at his pictures on Snapchat and talking back and forth. That's just mean.
You seem like giddy at the idea of giving him a makeover and like fixing him.
You're trying
and
to
sprucing
change
him
who
up.
he is.
Yeah. Let him be. And also like, that's what if he's got like siblings or like female friends or whatever, like that's what they're for. Mm-hmm. That's not like the last thing that you want to hear is from the person that you're like trying to impress, that you have like a crush on, that they think that you need some fixing. Like I would, no, never.
What if he really loves his eyebrows?
There's nothing that pisses me off more than like, I mean, I will pluck every single one of my leg hairs out with tweezers or my armpit hair. Like I was depressed while I was doing it. I mean, I'm always, I mean, same, but like that's like such and I live for that kind of shit. But like if Monts was like, no, I love my unibrow. I would be like, okay, let's fucking leave it. But like, he was like, I don't really like this. And I'm like, I will get rid of that for you. Or like, and it's the same thing. It's like, oh, you'd be so much prettier if you didn't have acne.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that, like, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's such a personal preference. And here's the other thing. And if you're coming at it from like that, well, maybe he's like, no one's ever told him or whatever. Like the amount of guys that I've been friends with who like, they haven't had a ton of female friends, like within the first month or like 2 months of us becoming friends, them being like, I've got a blackhead on my back that I've never been able to reach. Could you do that for me? Or like, could you, like, I don't know how to do my, like, could you help me? Like, and it's always been like could you help me with my eyebrows sort of thing? Like, it's not, if he wants you to, he will ask you to. But like, again, that's like him pointing out something on your face that he would like you to fix a month in.
It's mean.
It's mean. It is very mean. And I think you really, really need to chill.
Yeah.
Hey girl, so I have a question. My husband likes to go down on me all the time, or wants to, but I mean, I take a shower every night and I use the Vagisil like odor protection, and I don't have an odor down there, I mean, that I know of, but I don't know, I'm just so self-conscious. Like, he wants to go down on me every time, and I don't know, I just feel so self-conscious that I might have an odor down there. I mean, I keep myself really clean, but I don't know how to get over, it's not a fear. Like I said, I just feel self-conscious. So if you have any tips, that would be great. Thank you. Bye.
If his head is buried between your legs so much and you don't even have to ask him and he just like wants to do it, I think that's your answer right there. Like, if you smelled, I don't think he would be down there all the time.
Also, if it smelled, you would know.
Yeah. It's like if you smell, then that means that there's something going on, like bacterial vaginosis
or a yeast infection.
Yeah, which is like in part of
or an
that.
STI.
Yeah.
And that's also not going to be your only sign of it.
It's going to be like milky white discharge,
cottage cheese.
Yeah, so
or like very, very like fish market.
If that's the issue, then like you can go to and you go to the doctor and you get that cleaned up. He would know. He wouldn't be putting his mouth on you if that was the issue. Like, you're fine. Also, Vagisil can mess up your
That's
pH.
what I'm looking up. Yeah.
And it can over dry you.
Your vagina is it self cleans. And like, if you want to clean anything with your so this, all these, I'm looking at all these articles and it's all this science stuff that are not great. And talk to your gynecologist about this, because your gynecologist will tell you, hey, you don't need this. And here's the thing. If you want like, there's a brand called like Queen V and that sort of stuff.
And the honey pot as well.
And it's one of the body wash. It's like a body wash that is also safe for like outer labia use. So a lot of other body washes aren't, but this is the kind of body wash is like not, oh no, this is specifically just for your vagina. It's not. Like, it's literally for the rest of your body, and it also happens to be safe for like outer labia use, which most other body washes aren't. But this is like the same thing with like douching and all of these like wipes and all this sort of stuff. Any sort of like like these fragrances and everything mess with you so much more. The vagina is a self-cleaning system, and this is not a part of it. So then your vagina has to clean even more to get rid of everything that you're doing. Like, it no matter what you do to like clean it cleans itself. Right. It's like it's like your liver, like where it's like, oh, I'm going to take all of this stuff that's going to like help my liver. Well, your liver's going to break down toxins, or it's not going to break down toxins. If your liver doesn't break down toxins, you know that. Yeah. Like that it's not something that it needs help. It's then just has more shit for it to break down, which usually ends up backfiring, because it's like, well, now I'm spending all of this time getting rid of all this other shit,
extra stuff that I don't need,
that I already know how to fix myself on my own. Why are you making this? I just think that like there's definitely like also the idea of like vaginas like this being like this gross odor smell or whatever, like is sexist, misogynistic, nasty media of like women being like, you are gross, your vagina is shameful unless it's being used to like pleasure a man. Like it's just awful. Like, and it's a load of shit, and your vagina shouldn't smell like flowers. Yep. It smells like a vagina. Like, dudes aren't concerned about the smell of their balls. We know that for sure.
Like, you don't hear about like ball wash.
No, like they're just, it's like that pink tax. Yeah. It's like they're making money and profiting off of women's insecurities. And a huge amount of that is like, what do cisgendered women have? Vaginas. We can make bank off of that. It's like women's women's quote unquote razors are more expensive than men's razors, and they're pink, and they don't
work as well.
And women's again, like products targeted for women also tend to like expire faster, don't last as long, because it's like, oh, ladies love to shop and buy more stuff, and they like to try the new things. So like if you see the amount of like shave gels that are like designed for men versus women have 10 times as many, and it does the same thing.
Barbicel, to cost like 75 cents, works the best.
It's just absolutely insane. And like, you don't, if you had an issue, and here's the thing, if you're like, it's not like your husband has a different nose than you do. Stick your fucking hand in your vagina, like spread your lips, check yourself. Am I cottage cheesing? My friends and I've never mind. It's so gross.
Did you check each other?
Oh, all the time. If we needed to, if it was like, I don't know where we're going, but we used to do this thing where it would be like, no, I'll tell you offline.
Yep.
It's just like the epitome of us. But like, stick your hand, like, and smell your hand and see, like, you'll know. Like, it's not that like, oh, well, I think it's fine, but then it's fine. And it's fine.
Yeah.
And if you're to be super fair, if you are super worried that you might have like bacterial vaginosis or something like that, like get like boric acid suppositories order those ones, because like that's something that if you're having like a pH balance issue, you can test your pH stick. You pee on the stick. It'll tell you where your pH level is. It's like, I think it's like red and green. I forget the color spectrum.
That's how it is.
And then the thing that will change that is vaginal suppository. Boric acid,
but
I think it is.
Talk to your doctor. The wash should only be used externally, not up in there.
And also it needs to not have fragrance in it, because that's also going to irritate you more. Yeah. And
cause yeast infections.
I just think that this is definitely like, you are the epitome example of like, and I've been there. I think everyone's been there, but like of like the marketing to like profiting off of making like cisgendered women feel insecure. And that's what this is. Like, you have no reason to believe that your vagina smells, or there's any sort of odor, or there's any sort of anything that's irregular at all, but you still feel that way. And you're buying something to combat something that you don't even think you have an issue with, but you're still convinced that you do. And as if that like, oh, well, maybe my nose is immune and I can't smell it.
Yep. So then you asked, is it time for? You always do.
An action. Is it time for Don't Blame Them?
It is.
Wow. Please keep in everything we did before that. We're just like, no, that's what you say. What do we have here?
So this call is from the episode with Jocelyn Davis, and the original caller, her boyfriend's son started calling her mom. And so this is somebody calling to share their experience with that.
Hi, Meghan and Melissa. I'm a longtime listener and first-time caller. I'm actually calling to give some advice to the girl. This is in reference to the episode with Jocelyn Davis, where the girl called in and she was having problems with her boyfriend's family because his son started calling her mom. I actually have a kind of similar experience. Kind of from the opposite end. My sister is now engaged, but has been dating for about 5 years, a guy who has a son as well. And his mother passed away, unfortunately, so she obviously won't be in the picture ever. That sounded morbid. Anyway, I know that from my standpoint and from our family standpoint, we were a little bit concerned at first and kind of weirded out when we heard him start calling her mom. And we were more concerned, for my sister about, what if this doesn't work out? And we were also concerned for the child, who is now going to be my family because they're going to get married. And for them, it ended up working out, but it was a little bit weird at first. My advice to her is to just do what she thinks is right. If you know that you're going to be with somebody and maybe it won't work out. Nobody can ever be certain, but I would just tell her to maybe arrange like a sit down with the mom and the sister and let her just air out her intentions and let them know that she does plan to be in the picture for a long time. And of course, she can't say for certain that she will be, but all she can really do is let her intentions be known and let them know that her intentions are good, and maybe hear where they're coming from, and maybe she will get a little insight to why they have such a problem with it, or why they seem to be a little bit iffy about her. And, maybe they'll never understand her, and maybe, that's just life. People just don't understand others sometimes. But yeah, I've kind of learned that all you can really do is let your intentions be known. And I know that, in my personal experience, it is a really weird situation when a kid starts calling someone who's not their biological mother mom. So yeah, I don't know if that's really helpful at all, but I hope that it is, because I really didn't think that I would ever hear somebody else have the same kind of problem or issue. But yeah, thanks.
No. My biggest issue with the first caller is that she never once called the child her son.
Someone commented that on the YouTube, and I was like, oh my, and I didn't even realize it, and I was like, yeah, that makes so much sense. Like, because there's this disconnect, and it's like, oh, that's, you never referred. I'm sorry, we had a girl who like fucked her stepbrother and then accidentally referred him as her brother, but like, he's calling you mom and you're not referring to him as your son. I mean, I think the comments on that episode are fantastic in regards to that call, especially. I think, and there's a lot of like people who haven't been in the situation or who've been on like, oh, well, it all worked, this kind of thing. But there have been ones from callers who introduced their kid to an ex, and they said it was the worst. They regretted it so much, or it was too soon and it didn't work out. And the thing that people are like, this blind optimistic thing of being like, well, if it doesn't work out, like, he has his great memories. He doesn't. Abandonment issues are abandonment issues, and being abandoned by one mother figure in your life is enough. Being abandoned by another is not like, oh, well, what's another? It's twice the abandonment. It's like, if you can avoid any additional hurt, do that. Like, it's not a matter of like, well, the risks outweigh the rewards. They don't, because at the end of the day, get married, adopt that kid, go through that whole fucking process. And if it's like, well, no, like you don't want to rush that, then don't rush the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
If you're not ready to get married and adopt that kid, and like, if you can't make that decision right now, then you shouldn't be a part of that.
Nope.
And I understand that like, someone's kid is a huge part of their life, and you would date them, you date their kid. But that's the whole thing that I'd be like, well, that's my issue is also, it's with him. It's not with her, essentially. It's like, he shouldn't have let this happen.
Right.
And he has his family who's there. He doesn't need it doesn't need her to help with the kid. And then that's a babysitter. It's not a girlfriend. And then again, and like the thing that I like commented responding back to someone, I was like, they're like, well, isn't it great for like the kid to have like a great like female role model in his life? Here's dad's cool friend. She's awesome. She bought me a truck.
But mom and sisters were there too. So that's
what I mean.
The kid like, has other female role models.
And that's, I think, why the parents are upset. And what this caller who's calling in with this, I don't think that if they end up together and they get married, I do not think the family's going to hate her at all.
Yeah.
I do not think it's going to be an issue. I think the issue is the fact that I think he's done this before. And I think that they have seen that he's not looking out for the kid. He's looking out for his own interest before he's looking out for the kid. And he has this blind optimism, and this kid is collateral damage essentially, and like dealing with all of that stuff. And the parents know that. And they, more than anything, now that he calls you mom, they want that to work out. Yep. They want you to stick around. They want you to get married. They want this to be it. Like, they don't want, like, they're not like hoping for you to fail at all. And it's not
unless
you're a piece of shit.
That's what I was going to say. Unless they know something that we don't know, and you're giving us the information just from your point of view.
Oh my God. Imagine if they hate her because she like sucks, and then he starts calling her mom.
Exactly. That's kind of where my mind is.
And also someone else commented something of being like, the kid it wasn't like, I want to call you mom. It was like, I'm confused. Are you my mom?
Right.
And it was like, I'm not your mom, but you can call me that if you want. It should be, and like, again, I'm referring back to the comments again, but people were saying it was really like when my like stepdad came into the picture, and like, I got to tell him that I wanted to call him dad. Like, that was an amazing moment for us, or like, that was an amazing moment for my like little brother. Like, it's such an that's such a nice choice. And there's something so amazing about if you grow up without like a super stable home life or like those traditional parent roles filling what they they usually do, and there's another adult in your life who is not biologically related to you and they love you unconditionally and they choose to be there for you, that is unparalleled. That is an amazing, you don't need to call them mom or dad for that to happen. Like that is such a validation and feeling chosen and feeling like loved and taken care of and special and protected that is so incredibly important for a kid who has abandonment issues from a mom, of someone who was not supposed to abandon him because that's his mom. And that's biologically, we're taught that no, your parents stay with you forever. Like they're always there for you. And if you have someone who's not even blood related to you and they choose to show up for you and be there for you, then the greatest gift that you can give them in return is adopt me, or I want to call you mom, or I want to call you dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, and everybody likes to do like on this side, but there's literally no one person who commented who is a parent who has a kid who said that it all worked out or it was fine. It's either from the kid's perspective, of like how it was for their siblings and that sort of stuff. Or people who've never been through this kind of like experience. But yeah, more trauma is like the moral of the story. Like it's not, and like the risks, if trauma if childhood trauma is a risk in a decision you make, don't make the decision. Like if this goes wrong, this could be an immense amount of childhood trauma. It's not worth it. It's literally never worth it at all. Even if 50-50 chance, 70-30. No, it's not worth it at all. That's like, it's developmental age, all of that sort of stuff. And he should focus on being like the best dad that he can. And you are his cool friend.
Yep. All right.
But can't go back in time. I wonder if she still listens.
We'll see.
Well, that's it for our episode, guys. If you want to call in for an upcoming one, you can give us a call at 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. We are available as a video on YouTube if you want to watch us lounge with me spread eagle this whole time and you want to show off your slippers. You're flexible, don't lie. Okay. Be lazy. Those new. The top looks really
I've had
clean.
them for a year. I only wear them inside.
If you want to listen ad-free, we're on Stitcher. I might have already said that. And if you want to leave us a review, please let us. I don't know how. I was like trying to come up with a sentence that would work in. Just leave us a review. Follow us on Instagram. We'd love that. Any other? Oh, my book, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo.
Soon.
It's insanely soon. Pre-order it. Would love if you got it. Hard copy, audiobook, digital, lots of those different things. And a lot of questions if people have been asking if you pre-order it, when does it arrive? It usually arrives like a day or two before.
Yeah.
If the latest you'll get it is the day that it hits shelves.
Depending on the state of the world when it comes out.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to get it online. Maybe you have to get a digital order.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, anything else?
No, I'm good.
No? Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Goodbye.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melisa Monts. Camera operator Amanda Lechner. And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.